Alright, for real guys, the Flashpoint movie is on its way. No, seriously, I know we've been burned before, but this time I think it's actually happening. I mean, they just cast a brand new Supergirl in a potentially huge DCEU role that's going to be a major game changer. You don't do that unless the wheels of production are turning, right? Anyways, Supergirl is officially joining the Flash movie, and given the loose adaptation of Flashpoint, could she be the movie's tragic version of Subject 1 from the comics? Don't know who that is? Oh boy, do I have a story for you. It's still unclear what exactly Henry Cavill's future in the DCEU is going to be. It kind of turned into a will they, won't they relationship, don't you think? Like, there are rumors that he's going to come back and appear in other movies.
Well, in that case.
But then the DCEU goes and casts a new Supergirl. The Young and the Restless star Sasha Calle landed the pivotal role of Kara Danvers, aka Kara Zor-El, aka Soup's cousin in the upcoming Flash movie. And this could signal a major turning point in the DCEU when it comes to which Kryptonian they choose to focus on going forward. Because let's look at the precedent set here. We know that Ben Affleck is basically done as Batman. But he's returning for the Flash movie. We also know that Michael Keaton is set to return as allegedly the Tim Burton version of Batman, and the DCEU wants him as the Nick Fury type of role going forward. With that, we can deduce that through the events of the Flash movie, since it's based on Flashpoint, that there will still be some reality rewriting shenanigans involved. One scenario is that after Flash fixes everything and returns home, he finds that Ben Affleck's Batman has been replaced with Michael Keaton's Batman permanently. Knowing all that, could we be in for something similar with Supergirl? Could Flash be gearing up to replace Superman with Supergirl in a similar fashion? I think it's possible, and although I would be sad to see Henry Cavill go, this new version of Supergirl could actually be even more interesting, especially if she's Flashpoint's version of Subject 1. Need to know who Subject 1 is?
Stop right there. I'm in.
Well, in the original Flashpoint comic, Subject 1 is Superman, but one that is raised in vastly different circumstances. When Barry goes back in time to save his mom's life from the Reverse Flash, he creates time ripples that make minor changes to the timeline that end up altering just about everything and making the world practically a wasteland. Bruce is killed in the alleyway instead of his parents, leading Thomas Wayne to become Batman and Martha Wayne to become the Joker. The Amazonians and the Atlanteans are at war with one another, but the most important change here is Superman, as the ripples change where he crashes as a baby. Originally, Supes crashes in a field in Kansas, where he's taken in by the Kents and learns all about those classic feel-good American values. Truth, justice, all that jazz. But in the Flashpoint timeline, he crashes into the middle of Metropolis that causes a few deaths, which probably causes the ghostly Jor-El to look away in awkward shame. But because his arrival was so public this time, Kal-El is taken by the government and spends his whole life being experimented on, growing up to have all the powers of Superman, but overall is a socially awkward, stunted lab rat named Subject 1. Ouch. Because Supergirl is announced for the Flash movie, and the fact that the movie is a loose adaptation of Flashpoint, maybe this new Supergirl will be the new version of Subject 1. Like, maybe the ripples in the timeline not only change where the Kryptonian spaceship lands, but also who's inside it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Supergirl could be a character that isn't necessarily as messed up and damaged as the Flashpoint Superman, but still has lived her whole life as an experiment and is struggling to do the right thing. When the Flash arrives and busts her out, she can have a chance to see the sunlight for almost the first time in her life, and have an interesting character dilemma of learning how to be a hero to save people compared to questioning whether she should actually save humanity when all they did was imprison her for her entire life. That's an interesting arc that deserves to be explored over multiple movies. So in Flashpoint, what basically happens is that Flash breaks Subject 1 out, and then the scrawny Superman appears in a moment of need to help Flash. I think the Flash movie could take that one step beyond. Flash could break Supergirl out of her confinement, and then in the final fight, she shows up to help Barry save the day, choosing to fight for humanity instead of turning her back to it. Then the twist would be that when Flash goes back to the original timeline, he finds that Supergirl has taken the place of Superman in this new reality due to timey-wimey magic science or something. Now Supergirl is the world's Superman and has to learn to adjust. Or maybe they keep the idea of the multiverse open. Maybe the Flashpoint universe doesn't necessarily go away, but rather still operates on its own. That means that even though the Flash movie ends with everything back to normal in our world, Supergirl still exists in her own world, and future solo movies could see her grappling with all the things I just talked about, while not overwriting Henry Cavill's role. If that's the case, then maybe it isn't out of the question to someday see Henry Cavill and Sasha Calle team up together. But make no mistake, if the Flash gives this new Supergirl this backstory as Subject 1, she doesn't need to ever really team up with Superman to be interesting. This would make her an incredibly complex character going forward. She'll be be incredibly tough and distrustful thanks to her upbringing, but also have a vulnerable side that comes with being experimented on and new to the outside world. That type of interesting character is the one that I want to see in the DCEU, don't you?